Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm Willie Bragg, your host, and I really don't want to discuss this because nobody can have a rational conversation from really all sides. And honestly, no, it's just another part of the culture war I really don't want to have to deal with. So. But I guess it needs to be discussed, and I'm going to go ahead and discuss it. And I'm going to discuss what happened, I guess, several days ago, about a week ago, that was in Dallas, an all-ages drag show. And it was met with protests. So I'm going to go and play you the actual protests outside by a right-wing YouTube commentator by the name of John Doyle. I'll tell you a little bit about him afterwards. So hold on a second here. I'll tell you a little bit about him and momentarily. Let's see. Okay, so where is he? Right there he is. All right. And I always share you my insight about this whole controversy and my take on it. So
I only have one question. Why do you want to put an axe wound in between your son's legs? That's the point.
I need to go. Let us in and get the ticket. You're not making America great.
Yes, we are. What do you mean? You're making America worse. You're bringing your children
You need to go.
to this event.
You need to go now.
You're literally someone better call suicide off.
Please do. We'll pray for you. You must repent.
I am in a cult. Says the man dressed in a dress.
I wonder if the mama bear instinct is going to come out in 3 years when the mainstream Democrat Party platform and they want to rape your kids. And they're all going to think it's one big, smug little joke, these people, by the way. Understand that there is a bigger difference between 10 years ago and now than there would be between now and in 5 years when they're openly advocating for pedophilia like they've already started doing. You people are the symptom of a dying society, and you know it.
You're scaring children. Shut the
We're
fuck
scaring
up.
children.
Shut the
But
fuck
not you.
up. Shut the fuck up.
You are child abusers.
You.
And you're not a real woman.
Shame on you. 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 Shame on you.
Your children should be home. Your kids aren't actually gay. You've just groomed them.
Shame on you.
You're a groomer.
Okay. All righty. I'm going to give y'all my take on this. First of all, I want to let y'all know my position on this. When it comes to pedophilia, I am 100% against pedophilia. I want to make that clear. I am 100% against pedophilia. I want to have that straightened out. Made that very clear. I am 100% pro-LGBTQ rights. The anti-gay movement, the anti-LGBTQ movement are trying their damnedest to link the entire LGBTQ movement with pedophilia. Are there people who are LGBTQ that engages in it? No more than heterosexuals. Heterosexuals engage in pedophilia. That doesn't make all heterosexuals pedophiles. Are there some people who are LGBTQ that engages in it? Of course, it doesn't make every LGBTQ person either as pedophile. I want to make that straight and clear. I want to get that out in the open. Because, I mean, just nobody can have a rational conversation about this shit. Now, let's talk about this guy, John Doyle. He's a young conservative commentator who was a never-Trumper in 2016 who supported Austin Peterson for president. I don't know if he voted for Trump reluctantly or voted for Gary Johnson or voted for whomever. I don't know who he voted for in 2016. My presumption is that he was a never-Trumper in 2016 that voted for Trump in 2020, which if that's the case, he's one of the worst people around politically. Because people who were never Trumpers in 2016 who became pro-Donald Trump cocksuckers are the worst people around because they did not vote for Trump in 2016 because they thought he was too liberal, and they voted for Trump in 2020 because he was more right-wing beyond their wildest dreams. That makes them the worst people around. So he runs a program called Heck Off on YouTube. He is anti-porn. He's against Satanism, which I'm not for Satanism. I think Satanism, but we got religious freedom in this country, and that's their right. That's what they want to do. He's against Marxism. I'm against, pedophilia. I'm against pedophilia, but he makes that clear. He's against pedophilia. Most people are against pedophilia, regardless of ideology. And he's just a roundabout right winger. And he was on a program last year with Lauren Whitsey, Carlin Borisenko, Blair White, and some other person. And I saw this program about a year ago. And Blair White, who I have problems with politically, is not out there. She makes it clear herself then. And she takes a position that's, perhaps you would say to my right on some of these matters. And when she's doing that, this lady named Lauren Whitsey, who's this blonde bimbo who's been associated with the alt-right, she's going around. Blair White's pretty much saying that she does not want kids involved with this, and she wants to live her life and pretty much don't want. She just pretty much wants to be who she is, and she doesn't want to bother anybody. She's not asking for special rights, and in that regard, that's the uncontroversial part about Blair White. But what I don't like about Blair White is that she tends to be a useful idiot in the sense that she try to validate basically what right-wingers hate about the LGBTQ community at the same time. So she kind of dances in both worlds, and she needs to stop doing that. The only person in that little debate that was sensible was Karlin Borisenko, and she's kind of more like a Tim Pool type that will sound liberal while trying to urge people to become conservative. And she's kind of a grifter. A lot of former liberals turning conservatives are grifters. Blair White's a grifter too. And she basically made a comment recently that not all leftists are pro-pedophile, but all pedophiles are leftists, which I say fuck off Blair White on that one. But the point I'm trying to make is that John Doyle was on that program as well. And yeah, I mean, and John Doyle is also known to have racist, anti-Semitic sentiment as well. And someone like that, he's going to go and try to take isolated cases and try to blow it out of proportion. And you saw them there with that mob trying to harass those people at an all ages show. Now, at that drag show was an all age drag show. If I was a parent, would I send my child or my children to an all age drag show or any kind of drag show? Myself, you're asking me? Absolutely not. Doesn't make me anti-drag, does not make me a transphobe, does not make me a homophobe, doesn't make me anything. I personally do not think that, kids are ready to understand that as a concept. Doesn't mean that I want my kids to hate somebody who's drag. I would never teach that to my kid. I would never teach my kid to hate. And if my kid, if I had a son who suffered from gender dysphoria and wanted to become a woman, or if I had a daughter that wanted to become a male or what have you, when I crossed that bridge, I would get there. I don't have kids, but if I cross that bridge, I'd get there. But let's just put it this way. This son or daughter, hypothetically speaking, will be loved regardless, would not be punished for having whatever feelings that this hypothetical child would be having. I would not sit there and demean this kid. I will have a discussion, rational discussion with the kid, and say, it's a very intolerant world out there, and I just want you to be sure that what you're ready to do, if you're ready to do this, to make sure what kind of a world exists out there. That would be the extent of it. But if ultimately, if the kid is ready, and I'm convinced, and it's something that's so obscure as a concept. I have never really thought about this until people from the right started bringing these concepts into and flashing it in my face, and all of that. But we're talking about something that's likely to never happen to most people in life. But the point I'm trying to make is that they're trying to take extreme isolated cases and blow it out of proportion. Now let's talk about that drag show for a moment, and let's talk about it because I will show y'all a photo of that drag show in a moment. But spoiler alert, I'm not going to say they were dressed conservatively, but they were not inappropriate. They were over the top and campy. If you're in a drag show, that's what you're going to get. Over the top. You're going to get over the top, and you're going to get campy. That's what you expect. It was an all-age show. There was no lap dancing. There was nothing sexually suggestive about it. There was no orgy or anything like that. Now, if there was any of that, would I be upset? Damn right, and yeah, if there was any sexual contact, absolutely, go ahead, go ahead and prosecute if there's any sexual contact. If there's no sexual contact and it's pretty vanilla and benign, well, I probably would be inclined not to send my kids to the show, and I'm not going to sit there and judge a parent and for doing this. I mean, it's not what I would do, but you know what? There are more serious issues in life than some obscure bar down in Dallas, Texas, sending their kids to an all-age drag show. I mean, John Doyle is more concerned about that than during COVID, people dying from no access to health care. He's more worried about that than the United States bombing and droning brown people in the Middle East. He's more worried about that than the fact that we're about to be on the verge of World War III because of the Ukraine-Russia incident, and we got neocons from both parties who are rattle sabling. No. They want to go and create another goddamn culture war just to sidetrack all the problems that exist in this country. That's what it's about. And John Doyle is just one more motherfucker asshole that's doing this shit. Now, if there are some super SJWs that think I'm a bigot for saying it, I don't care. I'm not politically correct. And anybody who thinks I'm some kind of Fred Phelps or some kind of Marjorie Taylor Greene or Jesse Helms, they'll just have to get over it. But, there's nobody, honestly, anybody who knows me knows that I am pro-LGBTQ 100%. I was for same-sex marriage long before it became a thing in the 1990s. In college, when even a lot of pro-LGBTQ people, for allies, were just like, oh, I don't know about that. I even know gay and lesbians that were like unsure themselves. So, and I say this as a 100% heterosexual male, ugly male at that. But the thing about it is that, there's an opportunity to sit there and cause a culture war. And it makes me think of other areas where there's been pedophiles, and a lot of these same conservatives just let it go under the rug. I'll give you an example. And again, I'm one of these people that don't sit there and berate the Roman Catholic Church as if they're filled with pedophile priests. I actually do not believe that. But what I do believe is that there is enough of a problem that they were worried about the public relations damage, and they try sweeping it under the rug. It's where they had problems, and it came out in the open, and again, it was a public relations disaster that they're trying to clean up. But let's don't get it twisted. Just because there's been pre-scandals that have been out on the news all these years, let's don't act like there's been like Protestant ministers don't go around doing this sort of thing, or other clerics or what have you. I mean, I'm gonna pontificate for a second, tell you a story about the Catholic Church. My mother's Puerto Rican, and 1967 she got married. And she thought the world of my priest, my mother's priest. She thought the world of her priest that married my dad. And in 1967, September 67, they got married. Just shortly after, I won't mention the name of the priest, but just shortly after my mother's priest, who she thought the world of, married them, the priest had a scandal in the town. I won't tell you the name of the town. And let me tell you about the scandal. He had to leave the priesthood. What was the scandal? No, it wasn't the little boys. Not at all. He fell in love with a news reporter, a young lady in town, and that was scandalous enough. He left the priesthood. He married her. So, but that was considered scandalous in 1968. And I'll tell you another story. Now, this one is a little darker, and was when I was in high school. And I'm not going to tell you the name of the teacher, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the Baptist pastor. But when I was in high school, I was in my second period chemistry class, and there was a tap at the door, and there was some police officers out there, and they asked the teacher, whose name I'm not going to mention, to walk toward the door. Everybody was like, "What's going on?" We never saw that teacher again. And then that teacher ended up serving 13 years in prison, molesting 2 kids. Will not name the town, will not name the high school, will not name the teacher, will not name the kids involved. 13 years in prison. A Baptist minister in that same community, 3 months community service, molesting 2 kids. See where I'm going with this? So, and the thing about it is that the double standard, nobody hardly blinks about a Baptist minister or a Protestant minister. I'm not trying to demonize Baptists, but Protestant minister, be like, oh, that's horrible. But it's not like considered a scandal, but Catholic Church is considered a scandal. I think that that's kind of even bigoted, in my opinion, that kind of attitude people have, the stigma. But I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way. But I think it's fucked up that a teacher will go 13 years in prison, and a Baptist minister or a Protestant minister will go for only 3 months in prison. That's really fucked up. Really, it is. So anyway, that's my little story. But I'm going to show you the tweet that brought it to my attention, because somebody that I communicate with, who's a right-leaning libertarian, I'm not going to mention any names, that I've communicated with, and that likes to engage with me politically, decided to, he's been using the issue of some of these culture war issues, which is weird because he's not a right-wing culture warrior, but he wants to own my quote unquote my socialist ass with some of these culture war things, and trying to trap me and trying to prove that I'm somewhat like a woke-scold, or I'm more politically correct than I let myself on to be and everything. And he wanted me to explain this by showing me this Shoe0nHead tweet and asking me, what do I think about this Shoe0nHead reaction to this tweet here? If you can see it, where she says, I don't like being gaslit about how not weird this is. And of course it showed the drag show with the kids, and it showed the catwalk and all this, and it's going on. The only thing that was controversial was this part here where it says it's not going to lick itself, and they could have that was already there. They could have covered that up. I think that they could have covered that up, but I know that there are probably some woke skulls out there who hate Shoe0nHead and have been trying to find a reason to call her a racist and trying to find a reason to say that she's a secret Nazi. I've heard it all before. And the only thing I do like about Bosch is that he sits there and he actually defends Shoe0nHead from these nasty allegations. That's about the only thing I like about Bosch. Other than that, he's kind of a pompous ass. Although he's not wrong on everything, some of his takes just kind of throws me for a loop at times. I don't hate the guy, but some things about him bothers me a bit. But again, this John Doyle guy here, he is just one of those really arrogant. Where is he? Where is he? He's just one of those arrogant, arrogant pricks that think he knows it all. I mean, he's so sure himself, and nothing makes me mad than some right-wing asshole who is so sure about shit that he's 100% wrong about, that he should actually be laughed out of any room for how dumb his positions are. And these new wave of conservatives, these young conservatives, whether it's John Doyle or Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or Candace Owens and all these motherfuckers out there, they basically mimic Rush Limbaugh talking points, but try to do it in a younger, hipper way. And they do not impress me. They still sound like stupid ass Rush Limbaugh boomer right-wing shitheads to me. So, just why people follow them is beyond me. It really is beyond me. But all I got to say is, for the woke skulls out there that want to sit there and to go after, to sit there and to go after Shoe0nHead, to go after Jim Lepine, don't do that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, she doesn't know who I am, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't like the way people have been trying to demonize her. I like her style. I like what she's been doing. She's one of those people that went on the anti-SJW wave in 2014, 2015, 2016, and it got misunderstood what she was trying to do. She was trying to improve the left, not trying to shit on the left in the way that a Dave Rubin ended up trying to shit on the left. And it was people like her that's actually convinced people who were right-leaning to drift away from the right and toward the left. If anything, people ought to be grateful for people like Shoe0nHead. I just wish she'll do more damn videos. I really do. I really do. I'm too old for her, but as I said, she's a very beautiful young lady, and even if she looked like Yoda from Star Wars, her values, her political values, are as beautiful as she is physically, from my perspective. So there is that. But here's another caveat to Shoe0nHead in that regard. That you can't be in the wrong too damn bad when you're Shoe0nHead and you have Sargon of Akkad on the right and Christy Winters on the quote unquote left hating on you. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, because Sargon of Akkad basically thinks that she's turned into a communist because he went so far to the right that he went from being a Bernie Sanders supporter in England to ended up supporting Marine Le Pen in France. I mean, what the fuck is that about? And then Christy Winters is one of those anti-Bernie Sanders leftists, and usually she's one of those kind of leftists that they hate on the Bernie Sanders, they'll hate on the Tulsi Gabbards, and they'll hate on whomever, whomever bucks the establishment of the Democratic National Committee because they can't see beyond Clintonism. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi is the safe zone for people like Christy Winters. Anything beyond that is, anything to the right of that is right wing. Anything to the left of that is right wing. And I look at people like Christy Winters, and I despise people like Christy Winters, and she attacked Shoe0nHead years ago, and it was funny how Shoe0nHead kind of lashed back at her. But she's a sad individual. Christy Winters is. As I said, if you ever take a look at her channel, you'll see for yourself. She represents like the worst of the SJW mindset. Everybody who doesn't think like her is a racist. Everybody who doesn't think like her is a misogynist. Everybody who doesn't think like her is a piece of shit. And she's the only enlightened one. And I say fuck Sargon of Akkad, but I also say fuck Christy Winters too. So. And I hope they both hear me say that. So anyway, case in point, I want to go, and I've been very long-winded. I just want to summarize what I just said in almost the last 30 minutes. I am 100% pro-LGBTQ right. In every way imaginable, I am 100% LGBTQ rights. I am 100% for the rights of people who are critical of the LGBTQ people to be critical as long as they do not impose harm against those who are LGBTQ, because I'm pro free speech. At the same time, I oppose pedophilia in all forms, whether it's LGBTQ individuals, which is a tiny small faction, or whether it's heterosexual pedophiles, which is also a small faction. Pedophilia is not to be tolerated under any circumstances, no matter the orientation. And here's the thing. Fox News are obsessed with what they call grooming in the public schools and grooming and all that. And they cheered the revenge politics of Governor Ron DeSantis, who's playing on the culture war shit and all of that. I mean, I know he kind of thinks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I mean, he's fully engaged in that because he wants that as a winning strategy. I mean, as much as I didn't like Donald Trump, I have said to people, be careful with Ron DeSantis. Because from my perspective, everything that I hated about George W. Bush is in Ron DeSantis. And everything that I hated about Donald Trump and everything that people on the progressive side projected about Donald Trump that might have been true, or even things that were not true, because I don't think that Donald Trump is as right-wing as he tried to. He's a grifter too. He doesn't believe half that shit. But he's everything that people imagine the right-wing baggage that Donald Trump has, with all the real shit that exists in George W. Bush rolled up into one politician, which is Ron DeSantis, which makes Ron DeSantis one of the most dangerous people around. It's almost like having Marjorie Taylor Greene as president. That's how dangerous Ron DeSantis is. Just letting you all know. So anyway, if right now we have on the chat line, I almost forgot to do the chat line, and that would have been very rude for me to ignore everyone here. So hot retarded chicks, hey, how are you doing? I'm 110% against pedophilia now. Join the club. So am I. No sweet 16s. Those days are over. Drag it, baby. Tell him, man. Let's see. Ben L said, hi, y'all. Hi, Ben. And Hot Retarded Chick says, hi, back. So there you have it. So anyway, if you all like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to create your own platform and utilize it because we are the muckrakers of our time. Hit that notification bell. Hit that subscribe button. Help make this channel grow because you're helping independent media when you do this. And remember, we have a class war to wage because, you know, there really shouldn't be such a thing as a billionaire. And we need to go and reverse this income inequality that's been happening. No war like class war. And military interventionism abroad, we got to put a stop to that shit because all that does is fatten the pockets of the defense contractors and prolong the bullshit of the military-industrial complex. We need to support free speech because when we support absolute free speech, we're also defending our own damn free speech. In addition, we need to defend the freedom of the press because people like Julian Assange is a political prisoner. And as long as he's free, none of us are free. And that makes us all Julian Assange. Until next time, we'll conclude by saying to you all, music. And I will see y'all again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.